Get ready to enjoy the fullest version of yourself because SourceLight Radio, high frequency healing for an amazing life with Laura Barton starts now. Learn about a unique spectrum of energy called SourceLight integration and how to elevate your vibrational aspect. Follow along as host Laura Barton explores reconnecting into the universal grid and bringing about physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual balance. SourceLight Radio, high-frequency healing for an amazing life.
Wow. Oh, boy. I hope everybody's ready for this show today. Our Spiritual Odyssey of Ascension. It's so amazing to be doing this show with Laura Barton, everybody. You have been introduced to the work she does, SourceLight integrations, and much more. And along the way, we've been able to participate in not only stories from Laura herself, but the many people she works with, stories of healing from pain, stories from healing from within, stories of stepping out and just living a life that a lot of folks didn't think they could live. And you've also heard about Laura's personal journey, her own path. And today, what we're bringing you is what seems to be a challenge for most, what I talked about a little bit in the last hour, and what Laura is going to enlighten us with today. And maybe we wouldn't be so focused on our confusion with our journey, and maybe we'll just step in to allow it. Laura, it's great to have you.
Thanks, Pat. It's wonderful to be here. This is absolutely my favorite topic. I'm really excited.
I want to just give people a little bit of a recap before we dig into it. We've done a number of shows. We've had a number of conversations where you brought on people that you're working with or people that just have called in that wanted to share in the stories that were part of your personal journey. And I want to ask you this question about SourceLight integrations and what it is about those previous conversations we have that helps open up the pathway for a spiritual odyssey of ascension.
Well, Pat, SourceLight integrations started with my own personal journey into healing. And basically what happened is I was catapulted into dramatic change on every possible level and experienced a more broad awakening event when I was in Sedona. And what that has afforded me the ability, if you will, to do is directly access source or creator or God or whatever you might choose to refer to it as, and direct it straight into a being's energy field, whether it's, a person, which we've talked about, there's been some people that have come on and talked about that, animals, plants, or just simply the earth itself. And when I access the light and the love of source and direct it into an energy field, amazing shifts occur. Shifts in consciousness, shifts in physical healing, you name it. People get extremely relaxed. And even when we're doing a session, most people fall asleep, whether they're here in my office or I'm working with someone in New York from Colorado. So it's the benefits are as diverse as the individual themselves at that specific moment in time.
When we look back at the conversations, got a little echo right there. When we look back at the conversations we just had in previous shows, we've talked about, what your journey was like in creating, developing, becoming aware of your gift and talent for SourceLight integrations, right? And so let's talk a little bit about what some of the transformations have been not just for the clients and your people you work with, but for yourself?
Well, in my own personal experience, I was at the time I learned how to do this, I was a total mess. I mean, I had 3 people in my family die in about as many months. All of it was unexpected, and the last one was my husband. Emotionally, spiritually, I was laid flat. I was I was stressed out, was totally anxious, insomniac, not eating well, having trouble relating to just about anybody, no matter how long I'd known them. And it brought me back into a state of balance by releasing the emotions and the trauma that I had endured going through such an experience. And gosh, I was able to sleep again. Um, it was literally a return to balance. And that's what I help people do, is release anything that's stuck, wherever it might be within their energy field or the bigger picture, their life period, so that they too can move forward as effectively with as much grace and ease as possible. You know, right now is such a dynamic time for that, because all our stuff is coming up, no matter if it's just, in our personal lives, in our work life, something from childhood, or maybe even in our genetic memory, our ancestral past. It has to be released in order for us to move fully forward. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree. And I got a message that just came in here, that text message that just came in here about it. And, the question is that as we talk about discovering ourselves, and as we talk about, looking at making change, because that's really what we're talking about. Obviously, there's something in our world, in our lives, that perhaps is not going the way we want it to. And maybe even perhaps, Laura, what we've done is we've tried every, I don't know, let's call it conventional message or conventional method that we know of. In other cases, we just know that there are things that cannot be explained logically and linearly, but work. And I'm just acutely aware today of how many people now are really leaning into the energy of that, of the changes that they're seeing through your work, working with you, and understanding the unlimited potential for the types of transformations that were mind boggling for them in the past. You see what I mean?
I certainly do. I've had people talk with me about any number of physical or emotional or financial matters in their life, and when they bring that up with me in review, and then we work together to release it, it renews their whole shift forward. Everything starts to transform because we've released it, we've brought in light, we're transmuting it so that they can move forward. One of my favorite stories most recently was of a young woman in Boulder that made a cross-country trip, and it was largely spiritual. She was at several places on the East Coast, and when she was out, right before she got back to Colorado, Spirit started talking to me saying, you need to reach out to her and see if she wants to do some work together. And so I did call her. I called her the morning that right after she had gotten back. And I said, I've been guided to work with you. Would you like to do that? And we did. And she changed her work schedule, everything that she had laid out so that we could do this. And the next couple of days I noticed that she was doing live videos on Facebook. She was talking to people about twin flame matters, about spiritual issues, and she had never done that before. And I reached out to her and I said, hey, I just saw that you're on Lightworker live feed. What's going on? And she says, yeah, not long after I got home, I was just guided to start doing this, and people are listening in and they're booking sessions, and it's a totally new chapter in her life. So this is as unlimited as we have the potential to be if we just embrace it and allow it to flow. That's the beauty of SourceLight.
Yeah. I mean, it's so really amazing when I think about, in this 15-year period I've been doing this, where I was when I started this journey and what I've learned along the way. And one of the things that I learned is uh, to step fully into the world of possibilities, to really take the shackles off of what you think should happen, what you think should be the way, and ask the question, what else is possible? That's what you and I are going to talk about when we come back. What else is possible? And how does that lead to the conversation of Spiritual Odyssey of Ascension? Laura, before we go to break, how can people find out more about you? How can they work with you? And anything else you want to share with folks?
All right. Well, I'm pretty easy to find. You can find me on the web at sourcelightintegrations.com. I have a group on Facebook, SourceLight Integrations Group, as well as a SourceLight Integrations page. I'm only an email or a message away.
Awesome. Let's take a short break, everybody. When we come back, Ascension. What is it? How do you know? What should you know? That's what Laura is going to talk about. We'll be right back. I just love this. I love my day. I'm Dr. Pat. I get to do this with Laura Barton. Laura, I know we've got 2 callers already on the line. We were just going to open up the phone lines and invite people. So I love that precognition right there. How can people work with you? Especially for those that are not going to have time to call in today. How can they work with you?
I'm real easy to reach. You can schedule a consultation for free at my website, sourcelightintegrations.com. My cell is 970-519-1683, and I do my absolute best to return all contacts, whether it's an email, whether it's a phone call, within a 24-hour window.
Mm-hmm.
My goal is to be accessible and help people reach their goals.
I love that. Okay, before we jump to the phone lines, one of the questions that came in was from Mary in Arkansas, I believe. And Mary's asking the question, I'm so thank you for the show today. I'm so glad about the topic. Now, I've only heard about ascension for people that have already passed on. So well, here it is. What type of ascension are you talking about? And what spiritual odyssey? I think she wrote spiritual oddity, but I think you might have meant spiritual oddity. Thank you, Mary, for that. What type of spiritual oddity will I have? I love this. I love our listeners because that's really what I was saying about my own journey. So let's talk about ascension, and then Benny will go right to the phones.
My understanding of ascension and what I've been experiencing personally is about the shift that the planet and everything on it is going through, the changes in the way we're looking at things, feeling things, the way we need to come to a greater state of balance so that we can move forward, the ways that we are able to raise our vibration to step into that next level. If you look at history, every 26,000 years, there's an event. Some people call it a flash. It's been called many things by many, many peoples across time, where there's a dynamic change on the planet. And in this particular time, this shift is all about a huge vibrational switch up, if you will, and moving into a different dimensional field as a collective in living form, rather than someone that's passed, as you mentioned, Mary, and then their physical form has ascended. It's not there anymore for whatever reason. This is the first time, as far as anyone knows, that we're doing this in human form. So it's an incredibly dynamic process. Our cells change, our body structure is changing from a carbon-based to a more crystalline-based structure, okay? And that's one of the biggest things that's challenging for people. The other thing that I work a lot with is helping people release blocks that are either self-created or created and held onto in their historical or genetic memory within their cells, so that they can be rid of it and move to a higher vibration. If we're holding on to our crud, we're at a denser vibration. We're not as light body. We're not as light spirited. When we release that, we experience a physical, emotional, and spiritual shift into a more expansive state. And the work that I do with SourceLight integrations is clearing those denser energies so that a person can literally hold more light as it is made available to them. And it's a process. This whole ascension thing is very dynamic in the ways that it's affecting people, whether it's sleep patterns, inability to relate in long-term relationships of whatever kind, different types of physical events occurring, like for example, with the heart expansion, a lot of people have unexplained heart pains. They go into the doctor and the doctor says, gosh, we can't find a thing wrong, no matter how many thousands of dollars we spend on testing. It's simply that expansion of your heart, that energy center in your body, that helps create this shift to a higher frequency. I hope that helps.
Yeah, it does, because we're going to get to experience it real time. Mr. Benny, I think we should open up the phone lines for those of you out there, 1-800-930-2819. But you have a few folks waiting, Benny.
I do.
Who shall we do first?
Sure, we'll take Carla starting off, calling in from San Francisco. Hi, Carla.
Hi, Carla.
Hi.
Hi, Carla.
Hi. Hi, Dr.
Hi.
Hi, Laura. Thanks for taking my call. Yes.
Love you, Carla.
Love you too. Love you right back. So I'm hoping that Laura could help release some blockages that's preventing me from having a good night's sleep. This has been going on for a while, a couple of years, and obviously it depletes me of energy, and I'd love to be able to be productive during the day and not be tired.
Carla, I would love to help you with that. There's many things that we can do to help these changes move forward. If you would like to work with me directly, I would be happy to help with you or help you with that. You just reach out to me on my website, SourceLightIntegrations.com, and schedule a consultation. And there's other tools that we can use. One of my personal favorites for getting a more balanced sleep is to simply take a stainless steel spoon in one hand and run it from heel to toe on the opposite foot 3 times, 5 times, 7 times, and then switch hands and switch feet. I do it before bedtime, and I do it when I get up in the morning, because what's happening with a lot of the issues we're having with sleep is we're being literally bombarded with opportunities to raise to a higher vibration with, for example, solar activity coming through and waves flooding our planet that kind of throw us kind of wonky, if you will. And so our polarity gets off. So a big part of, like I said, what I do every day is making sure that I end my day and that I start my day with that very simple stainless steel spoon and balancing my polarity. And, you know, like I said, I'm delighted to talk with you about how we could work together personally, or you can even give me a call at 970-519-1683, and we can schedule something that way too.
Yeah.
Does that help?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Well, Carla, one of the things too, may I jump in here? Because what your experience is, you said you're feeling tired, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Can I ask you a question about that? Just beyond the work that Laura's going to do with you, because she's going to take care of that in a minute. But I have a question for you. Have you been able to pinpoint when you get tired, or is it a general, I'm tired, period?
It's more general.
Mm-hmm. Have you had something life-altering happen to you recently?
Nothing out of the ordinary, Dr. Pat. It just seems to be with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't pinpoint anything, you know,
Okay.
that's new.
That the reason I'm asking, because this is what Laura is going to take care of. Because a lot of times what happens for many of us that carry sort of the veneer of lifetimes of things with us, we don't really understand how much of the weight of that is with us as time goes by, right? We just don't understand it. We may feel it, and this is something that I've been a little sensitive to myself recently. We may feel that today Benny says something to me, and the way that Benny always says it, but for this day, I feel crushed. I mean, honestly, Benny did not. So that's just an example, right? I've known Benny 15 years. Like, it's like almost my longest relationship. But just in case this day I may feel something. And, you know, sometimes we're not aware of that. And for sure, Laura is going to be able to help clear it. I ask about something recent, something that happened, because I noticed for myself, I'm in New Jersey, and if you heard the last show, I explained my schedule in New Jersey is my schedule back west, plus adding the extra hours of 3 hours in New Jersey. And I didn't figure it out. So my tiredness is that I have not adjusted for working 3 to 6 hours longer a day, and I was completely oblivious to that. And so just be ready to work with Laura so you can say goodbye to being tired for good. You get it? For good.
Yeah.
For good. You deserve it.
I'm with you.
All right.
That's the way to go.
All right, Laura, what's that phone number again?
970-519-1683.
Awesome. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to go right to the phones. We've got more to say about Ascension. And also, listen, this is not about having a major life-altering event. This is really about our birthright to live an amazingly exquisite life. And if you're not, and you want to get some help, that's why we do what we do. Let's take a short break, everybody. We'll be right back. Oh my goodness. 1-800-930-2819. We're taking your calls today. Laura Barton is in the house. This is about SourceLight integrations, SourceLight integrations, and the path, the Spiritual Odyssey of Ascension. We talked a little bit about Ascension. We're also going to talk about what people are experiencing. And Laura, before we go to the phones again, Again, how can people work with you? How can they find out more about you? Certainly, they can listen to past shows that were done on your website. Give us some information.
I love it, Pat, when people reach out to my website, SourceLightIntegrations.com, and schedule a consultation, because it gives us an opportunity to look at their situation, to talk about how my work has helped people in that situation or something similar, or maybe something totally different in the past, and move forward with that. And it's totally free. You can book it straight through my website, SourceLightIntegrations.com. And I keep my phones on 970-519-1683. As long as people are patient and recognize I need, in some cases, a 24-hour window to return contacts, whether it's online or on the phone. But my goal is to be able to help people move forward in their lives clearly, completely, with as much grace and ease as possible. And if that's what people are interested in talking with me about, hey, I'm all ears.
Awesome. I'd love to go to the phones. Benny, let's do it.
All right, let's take Sue. Sue is calling in from Grangeville, Idaho. Hi, Sue. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Sue.
Hi, thanks for having me.
How
Hello.
are you today? You're a rock star. Great. Thank you for calling in.
You bet.
Welcome, Sue. Welcome.
Hi, Laura.
How can we help you today?
I just wanted to say hello. I've been working with Laura for the last few months and on quite a variety of everything. And I'm just bringing out who I am. I feel much better physically. Old is going away, new is, and the old, I want to say, you know, we have a lot of trauma, disappointment in our lives, and a tremendous amount of release is going on there. And in the short 3 months, I'm doing much better. And be very versatile with Laura's schedule. She's a busy gal, and she can really help you a lot. And I just wanted to check in today and say, hey.
Thank you so much, Sue, for calling in. It's been an absolute delight to help you move forward. And yeah, there's been a lot of things that have come up for release and transmutation so that you can get to where you are and look forward in such a more joyous way to what's coming up. It's great.
Well, I felt the moon transaction going on here this last week, big time. And so I was able to understand it now, where the emotions were and anger was coming out and why it was happening. And I'm able to not cling on to it because I can understand the universal energies and where they're coming from and how they do affect us a lot more. And I guided through that very well. My sleep is much better. We started off, I recall, with body pain and tremendous jumps of relief have come across. It's just fabulous. I just am on my want of wanting to be better and feel better is weekly transitioning to better.
That's awesome, Sue. Like when you step into the process of universal integration, everything just unfolds, doesn't it?
It does. It takes the time, you know, by our second session. I've been through 3 sessions, and by the second one, I was definitely feeling and understanding better, and things were being released. And by the third one and seeing you the last time, just great understanding of love from the heart, calmness, love my critter friends. They're coming around more because they don't feel my anxiety and my assumption of what could happen and crazy things that the human mind, the 3D, brings in. and I'm on top with more to go.
Absolutely.
That sounds like the coolest thing. That sounds like the coolest thing for you. Can I ask you a logistical question? Now that
Sure.
is, things are shifting for you, how does your day change? Do you know what I mean? How do you experience your day differently?
The day starts out not frustrated when I wake up, with considering, like I used to consider, oh my gosh, this is going to happen, that could happen, that already happened, so this is going to be like that. I'm way more open-minded, and by listening to people better, they open up more, and so I get the full story of what's going on for the day just by more observing and hearing better. I hear what's going on better.
Wow.
Does that answer that question?
No, it does, because, I think that one of the things I was talking about earlier is that, we have the ability to have the most glorious days of our lives every day of our life. And I think the work that you're doing with Laura is really opening up that platform for that to happen, both energetically, from an energetic point of view, and also my favorite word, from a possibility point of view. And I do know that sometimes things take time, right? And sometimes you get you clear out one layer, and then you're like, oh my gosh, that is
exactly. One layer at a time.
One layer at a time. That's what I'm talking about. Wow. Thank you for calling in. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sue.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
You betcha. We are taking your calls, 1-800-930-2819. And Laura, today we are taking calls. I'd love for you to say a little bit about, what's possible when folks do call in the show, because you're able to help them with a series of things. And again, if it requires more time, they can schedule time with you.
Absolutely. When we have an opportunity to talk over the phone, my vibrational level, or in a forum like this, I maintain a high vibration and do my best to do that. We all should. And a lot of times you experience a sort of, for lack of a better phrase, an up-leveling in your own cellular activity as your cells try to entrain to a higher vibration that they encounter, wherever or whomever that might be in your walk of the day. So when we talk about the situation, people tell me that the work actually starts there. As soon as they make the commitment to start sharing, to want to move forward, to see what their possibilities could really be, just by simply taking that next step and reaching out to me at SourceLightIntegrations.com.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, let's take a short break. When we come back, what we're going to be talking with is we're going to be talking about what is this process of ascension? Does it begin? Does it end? Will things turn normal again? And how the heck are we going to know? Let's take a short break, everybody. When we come back, more with our Spiritual Odyssey of Ascension, Laura Barton, SourceLight Radio, high frequency healing for an amazing life. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody. Super, super welcome back. Welcome back. Yes, Source Light Radio with Laura Barton, high frequency healing for an amazing life. Laura, one more time, please tell folks how they can find out more about you and actually how they can schedule a consult with you.
I'd love to, Pat. I try to remain very involved and accessible. My website is SourceLight Integrations with an S.com. You can read through all sorts of information there if you'd like, or you can just simply click on the box that says schedule me, and we can reserve a time to talk together privately about what's going on and how I might be able to help, because that is why SourceLight is here at this time, in this place, is to help you move to the fullest version of yourself.
Awesome. Wow. Thank you. Okay. So we talked about quite a bit already. The question it really is, does ascension have a beginning? Does it have an end? Do things go back to quote normal? And then the big question, how will I know any of that, Laura?
Well, Pat, those are great questions. When people really started paying attention to this shift that we're in was back in the early 60s, and people started talking about the fifth dimension. There was songs and a band all about that, and the Aquarian age, and moving from the Piscean age, and those sorts of things. But unless you were really into the whole 60s things or on the planet at that time, you might have missed out on a lot of what that was about. And basically, it's about moving into the shift of the ages in a physical capacity, not just studying with teachers or taking workshops, but the actual shifting that our bodies are doing at a cellular, at a vibrational level, moving into a higher frequency so that we can fully embrace where we're going, which is into a totally different, higher vibratory field. And that's what I help people do, is come to that state of expansion where the body and the emotions are more balanced and you can stay more fully in your heart. That way, moving into that vibration, and not just moving into it, but staying. That's the most important thing. We all have bits and pieces of stuff that still come up. And right now, even for those of us that have done a lot of work over time to release, to be more vibrant, to live more fully, there's still, in a lot of ways, this sense of knowing that there's more, knowing that there's a wider, broader state that we can be in, and yet not quite understanding how to get there. And simply put, the way to get there is by clearing your blocks wherever they might lie, so that your body and your emotional body can fully switch into that crystalline state, can fully move into that higher vibratory field and hold it. So ascension is moving from the carbon-based into the crystalline-based body system. It's moving from a 3D state of living, thinking, and knowing, and into an expanded dimensional 5D state of being, okay? There's no real end. I mean, there's more shifting, and nobody really knows how this is all going to transpire for sure. Everyone has different opinions, different thoughts, historians, scholars, people that could see the future on the timeline way back in the day, even several centuries ago, all foretold this time. It's spoken about in the Bible, for example. It's spoken about in almost every religion on the planet, about this shift that we're all going through together. So there's no exact way, since no one's experienced it, to tell when that is going to be a completed process, or if it's just moving a step further into a more expanded state and keeping going from there. I believe in the beauty and the joy of the journey. Okay. So when I find that, someone I'm working with is having trouble in a certain area of their life, with SourceLight integrations, I simply access source energy and direct it into their energy field to free up whatever it is. And as Sue, our earlier caller, spoke, it's going through the layers, because as you release, so another layer is going to come up for release, and so on. But this work is very broad, it's very deep, so it doesn't take a year to move through the process to where you finally feel like you've got some release, some relief, and a renewal, an advancement of your being, moving towards what you feel is a more comfortable, a more joy-filled way of life.
Well, what we're talking about also is got a little reverb there. What we're talking about is we are in a place of our lives where we know, one, probably we're not where we really desire to be. Two, we know we can get there. And the third part is we just don't know how. And that's where you come in. And I think that for me is the lesson I learned along the way, when I discovered I really couldn't do what I needed to do by myself. And, having people in my life that could help me is one of the reasons I'm here today. And that's the door that you're opening for people. So I want to thank you for that. Laura, thank you for everything that you do. I'd like to know your personal message, what you'd like to leave us with. And again, please provide your information for folks.
Absolutely. Thank you, Pat. The message is, like you said, we're not here to do this alone. My mission is to help you get to where you're going with as much grace and ease as possible, because that's what someone helped me do. And that's why I'm here today as well. I can be easily reached at SourceLight Integrations with an S.com, or you can simply give me a call at 970-519-1683. I do get back to people within a 24-hour window most of the time. So please be a little patient, but let me share my joy of service with you and help you live a more joyful, expanded life.
Thank you, Laura Barton, everybody. I'm Dr. Pat. One of the things I love about the life that I get to live is I get to connect with all of you. For any of you that want to connect with me directly, as many of you do, just send me an email to info, INF as in Frank, O, at thedrdrpatshow.com. That comes right to me. I read them and I respond back. Please really take a moment to think about your life today and where you want it to be and how you might get there based on something you heard today in the show. So thank you for all of that. I want to make sure all of you know you are the best on the planet, and you keep me getting up every day. And I'm very grateful for you, Laura. I'm also really grateful today I get to eat New Jersey pizza. There you have it. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time.